And we're live. Hey guys, it's the Admiral back, and today we've got the 2-valve on the engine stand to tear down to put in the car. I'm sure you've seen the startup. Yes, the old engine still runs. It does not run once it gets up to temperature, or at least not very well. Just getting that out of the way. But today we're tearing this down. We already did the Cobra motor. We got some parts off of it. I posted some progress shorts. Sadly, I didn't get that on camera. I just didn't feel comfortable with the recording, so it didn't get posted. But, so today we're tearing into this. This is out of a Crown Victoria, and we're using some of Dad's power tools. Thank you, Dad. Also, you might notice I've got a cameraman. That is also Dad, my equipment upgrade. And there it is. Let's get right into this. First, we're going to take the valve covers off. A bunch of 8mm. A whole bunch of seals. You make sure I have any grommets in the seal kit. Come on. And as we go, I'm going to make sure and label some stuff. That way, we don't get confused when we're putting this back together, because this one's going back together soon with a lot of stout stuff. We see the bolts.
B&T.
It's important to bag and tag your stuff so you don't lose track of it, because, you know, we're not going to be reassembling this for a few weeks while we wait on parts. So, got to make sure we know where everything went. So if you just throw it into a pile like I did on the Cobra engine, it ain't going back together with that stuff. That's getting a lot of ARP hardware though, so I'm not worried about that. Alright, there's that side. And let's go ahead and pop this valve cover. Just peel that back a bit. You want to come here and look? This is a very nice engine. Just that cover gasket there.
Pretty clean for a junkyard engine.
Oh, this is very clean. I was told this was pulled out of a very low mileage Crown Victoria. And as you can see, this motor has very little mileage on it. These cams are going out because they are very mild cams. I've got some XE274AH cams ordered from Comp Cams, courtesy of Dad's Summit dealer. And let's get these out of the way. That's a very clean engine. I feel very good about my purchase now, having cracked this valve cover. So let's...
Is that the first time you've opened it?
This is the first time I've opened this engine, yes.
Wow.
I had the intake off, and I looked down into the ports. It had a warranty for failure, so if it was bad, you know, I let them know, hey, you guys sold me an engine with major issues, and they would have replaced it with another engine that didn't have issues. Let's keep cracking. And there is not any particular order on these. I'm still debating on whether I should remove the valve covers or not.
Light is right.
Yeah, well, plastic is very light, but I'm worried about the possibility of dropping something and crack. There goes your valve cover. Especially if we're out of the track, because it's not entirely paved. You know, don't want a whole bunch of dirt getting in it, as happens. That's different. Didn't notice that. Stuff that happens when you get a junkyard motor. Let's see what size that is. I bet that's a 12? Question mark? I'll try an 11 just to see. Maybe that's a 13. That's a 13. 13. Yep. Fits real snug. Alright. Let me get this one off. Same size thread. I guess maybe this motor was open at one point. I don't know. And same story over here, even cleaner. To be honest. This is a very nice engine. I feel really nice about this now. Just get it out of the way. And look, we got nice and tight chains, even though there's no oil pressure. These do have spring tensioners. I have fresh tensioners for it. Seeing this, it's still a good idea. It's a hot rod motor. Change it if you got it out. Let's see. That is a 13. Put that out of the way. Don't know what that is, but I think I need that for my oil packs. Timing accessories. PC. Timing pepper bolts. And accessory bolts. Figure that out well enough. And we should be able to zip most of these off. Ooh, that's tight.
We need to pull the balancer, right?
Yeah, we'll need to pull the balancer. We'll do that here in a minute. Let's see.
We have to get the big impact.
Nah. I'll just crack them loose. Crack them loose and zip them off with a small boy. Don't mind me just throwing stuff around. Look at how simple that valve train is. I was thinking, I wonder if this is the simplest engine Ford has ever built, or simplest V8 engine. When I was thinking about it, before we started this video, I realized there actually is a simpler engine than this. It's a flathead. So this is arguably the second simplest V8 engine Ford has ever produced in terms of internal mechanics. Crack that. Crack that. Crack that. Crack that. Crack that. That's gear size. Crack that. Keep socket that. Help the impact to be able to get that off. What else? There. Crack that. Crack this. No, I did not. And we're gonna need to take the oil pan off too. Just remembered. Well, we'll go ahead and get most everything off, and then we'll take the oil pan off, and the timing cover will fall. Time to zip these off. We don't really need this timing cover anyways. I'm selling it. Or I might keep it, but I don't know. I have to see what I can sell it for. If I can get $50, I can get $50. Zip, zip, zip. Okay, that's all I can get off of that. Those are broken off. Huh, interesting. Like I said, not reusing this timing cover, so I don't really care. And the size, probably this size, 18 millimeter. Yeah, that works. That I need a drive ratchet for. Not 3/4, half drive. So get that real quick. Oh, I can zip that off. You can tell I'm not perfect at this. Thankfully, I'm not expected to be perfect at this. I don't know what you guys have type of expectations, but nobody around here expects me to be perfect. What? Yeah.
This shop was built on perfection.
Totally.
Now,
Totally.
we made every mistake possible, but you know what? That's how you learn.
Yep. Couldn't have said that myself. That's good. That's off. Not gonna crank that loose like that. Where's the big gun? Here's the big gun. Right here. This was actually my first welding project ever right here. The shelf. It's a little bit ugly. Then again, wasn't everyone's first weld? Probably not. But
Well, not
most
bad.
people.
Not bad for your first TIG weld.
Not bad for my first TIG, yeah. Alright, if that was a MIG. If I started out on MIG, that would have been disgusting.
MIGs make sparks.
MIG's what?
Make sparks. That's why I don't like them.
Yeah. As you can see, we got a lot of nice vehicles in here. We don't want to start a fire. Insurance is expensive enough when you don't have to use it. Right, Dad?
Yep.
One, I think, is a 13. Yep, 13 zips right out. Alright. We don't have the crank puller over here, do we?
Nope.
Oh well. We'll deal with that in a minute.
You want to pause and get all that?
Go ahead and just silence this. It's going to be a 10. Hey, first 10 of the night. First 10 now.
That's a miracle.
I know, right? We haven't even gotten it out yet. We've already taken 2 whole bags of bolts off of this. These are water pump bolts off the other engine. I forgot I left these ones in here. But I might need them. But yeah, never hurts to have extras. Okay. That tensioner is off. We will not be reusing that. But bolts. Probably won't use those either. Just in case. And we'll go ahead and impact the balancer bolt off. Oh, this one might come off. No, it's just fine. Huh. Let me get these. All sorts of other stuff off of here. Yep. Alright. We're back with the stuff. Sorry for the abrupt cut off, but we're back with the stuff we need.
Love y'all.
3-point.
Yeah, 3-point crankshaft puller.
Love y'all.
Love you too, Trevor.
Bye, Trevor.
Okay.
Shop hand. We'll go ahead and do these. These are 8 by 125 metric bolts. I'm gonna have to drive them in there because there's some rust on this balancer. As you'd expect to see on a motor from 2004, I think. Yeah, 2004. Oh, I never noticed that. Like has the displacement right there, 281. That's cool. What size are those? Those were 13s, right? 13s. So I'm walking in front of the camera. That. Tighten it up. I'm going about this all the wrong way, but it's fine. We're learning here, aren't we? It's gonna be funny. Oh yeah, I forgot the big wrench. We're not reusing this balancer, we're going to reuse the one from the Cobra. So it's not a worry. All right, you ready? Got it? I may not even need it back up here. You getting any string?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Cut right off though.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're good now.
Yeah, this motor still has plugs in it, so it's got compression. We did the Cobra without any plugs in it, and it didn't have compression. So you had to back me up on it. And there we go. Put that off. Let's leave that puller on there because we're not going to use it for anything else. Balancer. Alright. And then we got to do these things. Oil pan bolts underneath.
Have you drained the oil?
It shouldn't have any oil in it.
Why don't you just drop the pan straight down? In case it does.
We'll do that in a minute. And this will be oil pan bolts. We'll just do pan bolts. You know they actually make ARP branded pan bolts for these motors?
Sure, they make ARP in about everything.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is the fact that they sell them means someone has bought them. Which is always interesting. Alright, this should.
What do you think I have on my engine?
ARP everything? No.
Yes,
Really?
of course.
What am I missing here? I'm missing something. Just know I am. Alright, those are just water pump bolts. Should just pop right off now.
Or
Just
get a
have to
pry
get
bar. Yep.
Do I have one over here? No, I don't. I have one over here. And perks of having a dad with a lot of tools.
One or two.
Just a few, yeah. Trying to pry against something that won't hurt. Just pry right here.
There you go.
Come on. Let's get this right here.
There you go.
Let's pry against the oil filter. That's healthy, right? Totally. And that's loose. That corner is going to be the butt. Let's just see. Let's pop this off. I'm going to pop it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll just come loose.
Ooh, those are old crusty gaskets. And there you go. There's you a couple of timing chains.
A very clean engine though.
A very, very clean engine if you ignore all the rust, which... You think we can sandblast this block?
Wire brush.
Alright, I'll just take a wire brush to it. I want to paint it anyway, so I want to get most of the outside.
Yeah, it's amazingly clean.
Yeah. You can tell this was owned by an old granny. Oh, that's a crank sensor.
Wrecked early in life.
It's not, it wasn't even wrecked. Apparently it had a no start, which they figured out was bad fuel at the wrecking yard. They put fresh fuel in it and it fired right up, but they had sold it to the wrecking yard thinking, oh, it won't start. It probably has wiring issues. It's a goner. And then I got a nice engine out of it. Of course, they got paid good money. Start taking these chain guides off. So we've got chain bolts. This off the side. Away. Just reorganizing here for a second. You want to go ahead and cut it? You left? Okay. Went ahead and made a bag for my timing bolts. So that's going to be everything this will go in, and I'm actually just going to put this right here. I was also going to show you guys. So, right front on this before I forget, but this timing gear right here comes off very easy. Extremely easy. I don't know if we're going to use this one or if we're going to use the one out of that motor, but it comes off very easy. That silicone out of my way. Yeah, whatever. It's not my way. So, write an F on that for front. Put that down there. And this is just going to go down here, and I'm going to set it down like that. We'll stack these on top of it. But, let's go ahead and start zipping this apart. Alright. So that valve guide is off.
What's wrong up there at the top?
Oh yeah, we noticed while we had it cut that this valve guide was actually broken, so it's flopping loose in here. But this doesn't have a whole lot of room to go anywhere, so I'm not worried about it. It could happen if it were maybe the Mustang cams, maybe some hot cams in it, but you know these are stock cams. This is an old lady's car, so it's hard to conceive that that would actually be a problem. But we've got new ones of these anyway, so it's not a big worry either way. As long as all the valves are good, which there's no reason they shouldn't be. Oh, that's a chunk of silicone. All right, that's off. And we'll go ahead and keep zipping this off. So, take this one off next. Do that. And here. Make sure you keep all your bolts. Keep track of all your bolts. This, I'm gonna have to zip those off, aren't I? Let me grab a 10 mil. That's a 10 mil, right? What was that, Dad? That's oh, we just did one yesterday. Come on.
I'm not a metric guy.
Oh, I was gonna point out these are stock. These were the two-piece, half plastic, half. Actually, no, these are all plastic tensioners. They later in the three valves went to half plastic, half metal, and then they had an updated half plastic, half metal tensioner. But the best tensioners you can get, and what we actually had on that 4 valve, are full cast iron tensioners. These plastic tensioners, when you put pressure and a lot of pressure at high RPM to them, and this is pounding on them, especially if you had a big profile cam, it can cause some wobble. These can explode. And then so this explodes, and it's basically gone. So this has a lot of play in it once that's gone. Doesn't look like it might if these bolts are still here, but it has enough play to where this chain can become loose enough that this jumps timing, possibly 2 or 3 times since you're spinning it high when this happens. And then valves meet pistons, and the motor is no longer very happy. So something we want to avoid, so we're going to use cast iron tensioners, the aftermarket ones that you have, and make sure that doesn't happen. Let's go ahead and zip this off. All the way up. All right. I just got to unroach this. Also, oh, these have belt on the too. Okay.
Put them in the bag.
A lot of the ones I'm used to. I need a bag for those. Real quick. And those go in the bolt bag. These go in the tensioner bag. And then, bada bing. Let's go ahead and let that jump timing because we're sitting still.
Still got valve springs stuck.
Yeah, it's got some valve springs to it. So, let's keep making it jump timing. OSHA, don't watch. And there we go, that's loose. We're not worried about hurting anything here. I doubt those valve springs have enough pressure to bend valves. They may, if it bends valves, we'll have to rebuild it. But don't think they have enough pressure.
They don't.
Yeah. You can race.
Be good to bag those chains to keep them clean.
Yes, it would be good to bag these. Not that I'm likely to reuse these, but I will keep them for spares. And we're going to need a bigger bag for these.
We'll lay them down for now.
Yeah, we'll lay them down here for now. Just remember to bag those when we're done. Get some from the house. And there you go. There's a set of timing chains. By the way, these are very easy motors to time, and I will go over this while we're putting this motor back together. All you got to do is line up your timing marks, which is right there on that one. And then this one uses the back one, which this is actually a two-piece system. So, I don't actually know. Oh, wait, no, the timing mark's the same for both of these.
Yep.
So what you got to do is you got to get these set up to where they're opposite. This would be up here. This would be down here. And then you just take... Normally it has this code links to indicate. This one does not. Actually, it does. But we'll just use some random links. Just pick these links. Boom. All you got to do is hold the chain out like this and get the exact opposite links. And you line them up dot to dot. And there you go. Your engine's timed. And then make sure everything goes under tension.
Good to know.
Very easy to do. And that is true for the primary chains on the 4 valves. Do not know about the secondary chains. I've never seen someone time the secondary chains. But on the Cobra, this was actually 2 pieces. This is actually only 1 piece. The crank sprocket on this one. So we'll then set that right there. And then I think that's all we can do for now until we change the oil pan. So we're going to cut, make sure this is drained out, and catch anything that's in there if it is, and we'll be right back. All right, so we got our pan bolts here. We're going to go ahead and zip the pan off now. We went ahead and checked. There was a little bit in there, not a whole lot. It was very clean oil. Still makes me feel very good about this engine, like I said. I'm kind of patterning this off of I Do Cars. So credit to him. He does junkyard teardowns of usually very interestingly blown pistons. He likes to find a lot of piston McNuggets and piston deletes. So there's some. And adjustable rods. Adjustable rods are his favorite.
And we're not looking for that.
Yeah, we're not looking for that. We are looking for non-adjustable rods and non-nuggetized pistons. But it is always fun to see. So shout out to I Do Cars for kind of the inspiration of this kind of rebuild. So we're going to go ahead and zip the pan off. Might need you to help me catch this. Why are those so tight? Okay, I guess I'll start cracking these loose. Can't ever be easy, can it? Don't mind me just being indecisive. So, we can crack all these, and we're going to drop this pan straight down, like we like to do, because if you drop it straight down instead of turning the motor over first, I Do Cars, tends to not dump as much oil on it. Tends to. Jesus Christ. Oh, should I have it set to tighten? Okay. Working with upside down wrenches is hard. Alright, so the next one. That's loose. Next one. loose. We're trying to get all this in here, so if this is a little boring to you, feel free to skip ahead. If you don't need all this information, we'll get to the exciting parts here in a little bit. I might see if I can learn the tools and learn how to drop a timestamp, but I'll probably just drop it in the comments. I'll do that. That'll be easy. Drop a timestamp when we get to the interesting stuff. But as of right now, this is kind of a how-to tear your 4.6 down for people who are less experienced than I am, but who maybe want to follow along with this. There's a little bit of grime back there. Something tells me that this thing may have had a rear main seal leak at one point, which is fun. But hey, if that's the biggest problem with your engine, you gotta get engine. Messy, but good. Now that all the Chevy guys are here, and now that I've started speaking at less, hi Chevy guys, your motor sucks. I'm joking. I'm a Ford guy, he's a Chevy guy. You know, if it makes power, it makes power. It's still cool. All right, you might want to set it up over here so you can help me catch this.
Do all but one.
Yeah, we'll do it like that. Get those almost all the way up.
No, just do all but one. Get them all out.
I'm doing the two far corners so I can just take them off real slow.
One will hold it.
There's lots of different ways to skin the cat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That one threw a lot of stuff everywhere. Spider? That's a dead spider. Okay. Anyways, moving on. That Cobra motor sat on this engine stand for a while and some stuff. You know, spider webs started to form on it and stuff. But we've gotten to it. I'm sure you can all relate, all you weirdos. And those of you who can't, either you got way too much money, or you will one of these days. There's still these two back bolts for the rear. I didn't quite decide on those. So, what do you want to bet those are? I'm going to say 16.
15.
Yeah, 15.
Because I feel like they're in 16.
This man was working in dealerships when the Oldsmobile 350 diesels were out. Wasn't that one here?
Made a lot of money on them suckers.
Oh yeah, what was it, the injection pumps that always meant that? No,
Yeah.
that is not it.
Yeah, I used to, maybe 16.
It was like 13s.
Oh. Yeah, I could do
Where did I got
5.
the 13? Where's the 13?
I used to be able to do 5 injection pumps in one day. Make my week.
Where'd my 13 go? Dad, what'd you do with the 13?
It's right after the 12, before the 14.
No, it's not in the socket. Oh, here it is. I'm just looking right over it. Don't mind me. This was actually coming out with the impact. Lots of junk all over these things. Like I said, this thing probably had a rear main seal leak or a rear pan leak.
So there's there. Oh, you got the bolts still in?
Yeah, I got both still on. You got yours up?
Yes.
Alright. Okay, I'm out. And it's free.
It'll save you a little mess. Just set it down. Hey, there's a piece of that,
This timing tensioner?
Yeah.
Huh.
There it is right there.
Yeah, we got a theory that might have caused a little bit of slip and made them panic and think it's a timing chain issue, not a junk time to junk the car. like I said, I feel like we got lucky here. I feel like we got very lucky here. All right, what are we doing next?
Exhaust manifold.
Yes, exhaust manifolds. That's what we're going to do.
Push that oil pan out of the way, or set it back up on top.
I'll just push this over here. It's still got a little bit of oil in it. Very clean looking oil though. You tell an oil pan is always going to be one of the dirtiest parts of an engine, because that's where all the crud settles. That's why it's important to do drains. Just burning oil, all the crud's still going to settle down there. And then before you'll know it, you'll have that much crud in the bottom of your oil pan if you don't drain it. Just because your car eats oil doesn't mean it doesn't need an oil change. I have a few friends that are like that. So just a public service announcement, you know. Okay, let's get a 13D. Do we have a 13D? Yes, we do. Borrowing Dad's tools again. Using an excessive extension because I couldn't find a short one. Let's see if we can get all of these out without any of them breaking. Because these are known to break. These headers aren't even, these manifolds aren't even completely coated. Nope. Ah, there you go. There you go. Wondering when we were going to get there. That one got off. No, that one got cut. I should probably get a bag for these. I'm going to get a bag for these real quick. Oh. Like I said, I'm a little all over the place. I have ADHD. Fight me. Oh, don't fight me. I'll lose. And these are EXH and bolts. So I don't feel like writing it all out. Look at a pan bolt out of the way now that we got that out. Growing a pretty steady collection. Okay. Get back to this. That one didn't take that. We're gonna go 8. Should we get the big impact after it?
Give it a heck. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay. If I break your adapter, remember, you told me it was okay.
Got a new snap on one.
See how it holds up? There we go. This one just says chrome vanadium on it. This must be the old one.
That's not the new snap on.
I don't really want to use a snap-on shiny. I hear that snap-on shinies break before most other shinies.
It's not a snap on shiny, it's a snap on black.
Oh, it is?
Impact.
I was looking for that earlier. I knew you had one. That's fine. If we break it, I'll buy you another one.
That's what I said last time.
I did buy you another one, didn't I?
It's all good.
I'm genuinely confused. Where'd my socket go?
Deep socket right there. Standing up.
Oh yeah. Using the deep socket. That one. This one's a Craftsman.
Move that oil pan out of the way so you don't
Yeah,
drop something in it.
Step on it. Good, thank you. Put that under the ladder. Alright. Short port. No shattered sockets. Oh, that one took the whole stud out. Oh, what the heck? They tied these under the wire cutters in here. Let me go grab some over here. Actually, just cut it. No? Okay. Got us some nice cable cutters right here. Maybe not necessary, but I'm just going to cut through all this baling wire.
Why was that on there?
Junkyard motor, these were tying it down to the pallet. I think this is baling wire. It's some sort of wire, but they trusted to hold the weight of the motor, so.
It's baling wire.
I'm sure. Okay, that one's cut. And boom. Now come on, stupid thing. There we go. And there we go. We got a stock exhaust manifold off of here. You can actually see, I'll show you up real close. There's a lot of port mismatch here.
But they're clean.
They are clean. They are surprisingly clean for exhaust.
Mm.
Usually you see all sorts of soot on this, especially on emissions motors with a GR like this. Looks very encouraging. Low mileage. That's what that means. Alright, let's go zip the other one off. Or, nah, we'll take the motor mounts off real quick. We'll skip using the big impact. Oh, hang on. That's that. 10 mil. No, 8 mil. Disorganized as usual. See the 8 mil on here?
Mm. I don't think we've had it out.
How many times that logo? I swear. We have it out for. Yeah, because the 8 mil spot's missing. Oh, here it is. Left it in the pan. Live. I was gonna say no cuts, but we do have cuts. This is live. A little bit less spur of the moment than my other videos. Still live. I guess we're not live. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I'm alive.
I am alive too. That's not right. Okay. Is that gonna pull out? Might have to get after that with the hammer real quick. Let me do that quick. Just make that. Dipstick. Oh yeah, I had checked the dipstick before. Remember, I did that on the other video. Grab a hammer to dip that out real quick. We'll be using the one from the Mustang. We'll be using a lot of stuff from the Mustang that crosses over. And cut my fingers up. Okay. If you're wondering why I'm not using gloves, it's just unnatural to me. I bought some to use, and I tried using them with the Cobra motor, and these cause so many issues. We'll just chuck these in the trash.
Keep it up, and you can have beautiful hands like me.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll show him your hands real quick.
No.
Let's just say he's not a hand model. Not a good one, anyways. But the scar. Chick take scars, right? Get some more tools off the floor. Just get up and down a million times. Okay, zip these off real quick. These are Vic motor mounts. I can't use them. Probably didn't hear me that. These are Vic motor mounts. I can't use them, but I have solid mounts already on my Mustang motor. So, again, another thing from the Mustang motor, the current Mustang motor, we will be transferring over. And yes, I use solid mounts. Call me insane. You wouldn't be wrong.
Bag and tag, blocks gonna get clean.
And we're just gonna lock these, or thread these back in here for now. about as good as bagging and tagging. If you put it back where it goes, you know, you remember where it goes, right? Right?
When you're going to clean the block, you're probably going to remove them.
Yeah, we'll bag and tag them now.
Okay.
That goes over there. And back over here we go. And zip all these off. There we go. It's kind of warm.
So you're going to put the exhaust manifolds back on it?
No, big manifolds do not mate up to my Mustang setup, and I honestly don't even know if these clear the K-member. I know on the Mustang, so you see how this is kind of almost a header if you want to get a little closer. This is almost kind of like a merged header, and this is actually a decent design for a factory exhaust manifold. It's not the best, not the worst. The best I've seen is actually on the old 5-liter pushrod motors that came in the 94, 95 Mustangs. Those have awesome exhaust manifolds. They're basically shorty headers. But the manifold on the Mustang, actually, basically you have these flanges, and it's just almost a snake that snakes over them. And it's that way for the GTs and the Cobras, although they're different exhaust manifolds, because they're different port sizes. But it's a really weird design, and that's what makes me think that they had to clear something here. At some point, we'll be putting a tubular K-member in. For now, we're probably going to go in with stock manifolds to clear the stock K-member. But when we do tubular K, we might do a header tutorial.
A what?
A header building tutorial.
Like build a set of custom headers?
Yeah, tubular headers. You do that all the time.
Oh, well, kind of.
Just a little bit. And that one bought out the stud. I'm fine if they bring out the stud, as long as the stud doesn't break, because broken studs is not fun, especially in an iron block. Well, really either way, but it's harder to weld around an iron block than it is an aluminum block. Aluminum block will just melt back a bit. Not a massive worry if you don't have a very small, limited number of threads. If you do, though, then that's just as bad, if not worse. Great thing about iron blocks, though, they do tend to be more durable. The 4.6 is an anomaly in that the iron blocks are actually weaker. I will kind of show you what we mean here in a little bit, and then we'll probably cut back to the textured block so I can show you why it's different. Because they were not cast using the same molds. And that one brought the thing out too. Ooh, that's heavy.
Another reason for custom headers.
Yes. Very, very heavy.
Stainless,
Now,
lightweight.
interestingly, if you were building a turbo setup, these are actually not half bad. Especially if you get manifolds like these that aren't like a straight snake like mine are, that do horrible back pressure. These manifolds actually don't have terrible flow characteristics, but they keep heat in the exhaust side, which you actually want on a turbo. On a naturally aspirated motor, do you want heat on a natural? You don't want heat on a naturally aspirated motor, right? You want to get it out.
Yeah, you kind of want to get it out. You still want your port velocity, but...
Yeah, you want your port velocity.
Well, just curiosity, is there any way that manifold goes on the other side and goes forward for
Yes,
a turbo
actually,
guy?
You can actually do that.
Is it symmetrical?
Yeah. Well, you can't do it with this this oil filter housing.
Right.
But if you get if you get like a remote oil filter housing or something like that, that's actually how the Factory 5 setup works for the Factory 5 Cobra kit cars.
Mm-hmm.
Worked on one of those at school once. And you have to get 99 to 04 Mustang manifolds, GT manifolds, to make a two-valve work. And then you put them on backwards, and it goes forward, and then it goes out a side pipe out the back. It's a weird thing, but it means that you can also use them for turbo manifolds, and you can do it with a GT oil filter housing. But it has to be a GT oil filter housing. So we'll step this back here out of the way. We also probably won't be using EGR on this. I'm going to be getting the motor tuned very shortly after putting it in, so I'm going to get rid of some of that stuff. It's not necessary here in Midland, Texas. I mean, technically it is, but it's not. I don't know. The laws say it is. Nobody enforces them. I'll put it like that. But I will have everything else on. I will be running cats, actually. I will be running pre-cat dumps for racing use. But on the street, I'll be running through cats. Which is where the EPA actually cares works. Move these back in. Put these back in so we don't use them. So I don't feel like making a bag for them. And we'll take off this exhaust gasket. This one took out a lot more studs. You might also notice something. There's a common thing called port matching, or gasket matching. So port matching, great thing. But you might notice, there's a little bit right there. It's hard to see because it's black. But this gasket hole is actually bigger than the port hole. What some people will do is they'll clean this off real good so they can see their marks. They'll get a Sharpie and they'll mark that out. And then they'll basically port away everything that isn't Sharpied. It's not necessarily a good thing. Actually, all I'm going to do when I port these is just clean them up. And I'm getting all sorts of soot on my fingers. But I'm just going to clean these up, make sure the exhaust velocity is nice and high. Maybe make them just a little bit bigger. But I'm not going to be doing crazy port work. I'm just going to be doing a mild at-home port job. The intake side, I'm going to do a little bit of reshaping. And I'll have to go over that in the porting video. But exhaust side, it's all about speed. So you actually want as small of a port as you can get away with to make the power. If you're right at the limit, if you're making 1,000 horsepower or something like that, you may want a bigger port. For this setup, we may not even push it past 700. I want to hit 12. I've been told it's probably not realistic. We're going to test it and see if it is. But I probably won't have to do crazy work on those to achieve it. If I do make 1,000. Those out of the way. And now, we've got a more or less bare block. Let's get that off. Check that. Alright, what are we doing next? What do you think, Dad?
It's
Yeah, pull the heads off.
our oil pump.
Or oil pump. Yeah, we can do this. Go ahead and get to this. Lost my train of thought for a second. That's me. We're going to go ahead and pull this off. This is something that you will commonly need to do. You do need to pull the oil pan and the timing cover and the valve covers to get to this oil pump because you need to be able to get all the timing chains off. But there's something you got to do, especially on manual Mustangs with mod motors. This ranges all the way from the 91 Vic motors, although they didn't really have an issue, all the way to the 2021 Mustang GTs with the 5-liter, the Gen 3 5-liter. I've been told the Gen 4 in the trucks that came out this year has a belt-driven oil pump that is off to one side, internally belt-driven, and it already has a billet gear. But on these, everything else, they get cast gears. And what can happen, especially on a manual Mustang with a two-step, you're on the two-step, and then you got a lot of drivetrain shock every time you shift a manual, especially if you're doing clutchless shifting. And those vibrations coming through this crank can actually shatter this oil pump. And as you can probably imagine, shattering a piece of metal that not only is in your oil supply, but actually creates your oil supply, is never a good thing, especially when you're revving the motor out. Especially when you're turning 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 RPMs. Sending chunks of metal through all the main bearings, the cam bearings. It's a good way to nuke a motor. I know, I'm carrying on. But this is a common upgrade you will have to do, is to take the oil pump off. And I honestly say to just go ahead and get a milling, a high volume upgrade, and change out your dipstick tube, which is exactly what I'm doing. But if you want to go the budget route, you can actually pull this pump apart, take out the gears, put a set of billet rotors in, and slap it back together, throw it back in the car. And then you're out of that zone of issue. But if you're still going to turn high RPM, you do want the high volume oil pump.
It's very impressive how clean all these parts are.
It really is. Really is. And I'm going to have to take this loose. 8 or 10. I think that's 10. Let's go on there with that. Extension. Do we have one? Quarter drive?
Mm-hmm. There are little ones in there.
Where? I'm blind.
Mm.
I don't think we have another quarter drive extension here. This starting getting all sorts of grimy. Nope. Probably should have caught that.
Came right off.
It's fine. There's that bolt. So this actually comes off a raised, I'll point that out to you later. This actually comes off of a raised balancer bolt. Or not balancer,
Crankshaft.
yeah, crankshaft main cap bolt. But we'll go ahead and pull this oil pump off. And there you go. So what happens is the crank slots on right here. And it slots into these cutouts. And it turns these gears, and they're somewhat eccentric. And it pumps oil.
Look at the backside.
Yeah. And then it pumps oil out through here. And
Like
it pressurizes the
raining right
mains. Oh, whoops. Didn't even notice that.
Good reason to have a pan.
Mm-hmm. And you can get these pans very cheap at O'Reilly's. This one was actually purchased at O'Reilly's. Or, you know, probably any other tool or auto parts dealer. But, yeah, this is actually your main oil passage. That pressure that goes down the side of the block. And this was actually something they came up with very often. You might have heard of the 427 side oiler. It's a big block Ford back from the 60s. And it was revolutionary because it actually oiled the mains from the side instead of oiling the cam, which was up here because it was push rod block. And then they went to the main bearings. What the side oiler did is they drilled this oil shaft, or something similar, down the side of the main bearings and oiled them first, as well as having one directly to the cam bearings and then a passage between them. It was revolutionary at the time. It allowed motors to make a lot more RPM than they were able to before without having issues.
Mm-hmm.
Very revolutionary design. And then they took that and made the cammer, which is the earliest predecessor to this motor. Because it was the first single overhead cam, first overhead cam in general V8 engine that Ford had ever produced. And one of the first produced in the US. Very awesome piece of history.
I just had a 67 Mustang in here with a camera. I mean, a side oiler.
No, that was a side oiler.
Yeah.
The camera was a side oiler block with adapted to take oil timing chains. I don't know why I'm putting those there. Anyways, that's your history lesson for the day. I get a little off track. Let's get back on this. All right, so we got the oil pump off.
Bag and tag.
Bag and tag, yes. Say it with me. Bag and tag your bolts. You know, always got a bag and tag. This is oil pump. Bolts. Put a pickup tube on here too. Horrible handwriting, but as long as you know what it means, you're good. You, who is building the engine, knows what they mean. You'll be fine. Go back. Alrighty. So, sorry for the abrupt cut. We're still kind of getting used to this dynamic. But, we're going to go ahead and spin this thing over a little bit. Make sure to... It's always nice to have this little holder belt. So this little mount has holes in here that this lines up to at certain angles, and it's really handy for keeping the motor upright, especially when you get a top heavy motor like that Cobra motor. That Cobra motor's absolute heck to get upright again once you turn it over with the head still on it. This one isn't that bad because these heads are a lot smaller and lighter. But let's see how horrible this is. Nope.
That's why we have a tray.
Yes, that is why we have a tray. I thought all the coolant was drained from this.
Go ahead. Let it drain.
Oh, well. Yeah, we'll clean it up. You got a mop, right?
It's not getting on the floor. It's good.
It's getting on the floor.
A little bit.
It's whatever. I'm going to do this. I thought this motor was nice and clean. That's a lot of coolant. And some oil draining out.
Throw them paper towels on it.
Yes.
Out of the trash. Out of the trash.
Always have plenty of paper towels anytime you're working on something like this. Anytime you're doing a tear down, anytime you're working on a car in general. Paper towels, they're very cheap, and being clean could save your motor. This is a tear down, but it's good practice. I'm not much worried about hurting stuff here because it's all going to get cleaned. But like I said, practice makes perfect. I'm just going to lay down a mat of paper towels down here. I make special absorption mats. We don't have any. So we'll just do it like this. I'm sure it's fine like that. Alright, next, we're going to get this oil filter off, which is nice and loose. And get motor oil all over the side of this motor. These oil filters always make a mess on the car too. Where should I go? Oh, I have an oil pan. Use that. We were remarking earlier, this is a very new oil filter. So, this car was taken care of. Just like all the oil in its new soda filter in it. I am tracking coolant everywhere. Oh well. We'll clean it up later.
Yeah.
We're not worried about the floor. The floor is not going to die because it's got some coolant on it. Alright. And then, we gotta do that. We don't have to get that out. It's just these bolts, which I believe are 13 millimeters. Let's test my theory. 13 millimeter. Spin this a little bit so y'all can see. Getting a little away from our area here. Probably should have done that, so that's fine. We'll go ahead and just zip these out. There's four bolts that hold this on. First time I ever changed the oil in my Mustang, I'm sure you remember, I couldn't figure out lefty loosey, righty tighty in the tight confines. And I over-tightened my oil filter and actually warped my oil filter housing, which was fun to deal with. So, that was the first repair I ever had to do on my car. Or was it the intake manifold?
I don't remember, but I didn't know you screwed up the housing.
You didn't know that was me?
No, you just got my assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Well, that
was
was me.
rather tough. Bag and tag, those are coming out.
Yeah, they're coming out. Gotta get in the bag and tag. So you should just throwing stuff back together willy-nilly. You get in the race builder mode. I want to be a racing motor builder one day. And we gotta get in this habit.
If you were just putting them back together, putting bolts back in the hole is one thing.
Yeah, if we were putting that together in the next 10 minutes.
But the block will be cleaned and honed and
Yeah.
everything checked. So Everything needs to come out of it. You send it to a machine shop with bolts in it, it comes back without.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Are we gonna send this to? I thought you had a hot tank machine.
Well, we might not send it, but the deal is
Holder should be coming on soon.
you need all the bolts out of it for handling it properly.
We may have to take a Holder break here in a bit.
There you go.
But we got some good progress. How far are we in? What's the recording time? Probably about
An hour?
Might be about time to go ahead and end this off. And we'll split it into 2 parts.
Okay.
We back? Hello? Alright. So we just got to looking at the recording time. We realized this video is almost an hour. Or it's actually over an hour, isn't it? Yeah, it's over an hour. So we're going to leave the rest of this motor build for part 2. So sorry if you watched all the way to this part expecting to see this. The next post should be going up the day after this one goes up. If at worst, hopefully it's going to go up the same day though. I'm going to try to post it the same day. But we'll see how the internet cooperates. But so we got the oil filter housing off. We got the valve covers. We got the timing cover. We got the pan. So that's where we're stopping today, and then all the peripherals. We're going to leave it here for today, and when we come back, we are going to be disassembling the long block. This is what you call a long block. This is, well, normally you get these with a pan or with a oil pump on them already. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. But this is what you call a long block. Heads, cams, crank, pistons, all of that. This is what you might buy from, say, O'Reilly's if you needed to replace your motor, but you didn't want to do a junkyard motor or a new motor. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, ring that bell like they always do, like they always say. And I'll see you in the next video. Admiral out.